Can I have one time? Tonight, God is good and God is good all the time. My name is Amy J. Spirit Divine. I'm going to give you a little short news and a short word on tonight. Impeachment. It's not clear. It's not clear McCarthy will have enough votes in the House to approve an impeachment. Some House Republicans are opposed to launching an inquiry saying there is insignificant, evidence. You know, they constantly trying to find something, on him, and they have not found evidence on him against President Biden. So they've been working together for months to bring on President Biden and family down, but have not had any evidence. Impeachment, inquiry, investigation, on possible wrongdoing, by federal officials. The process is written into the Constitution and is the most powerful check that Congress has on the executive branch. So it's like they was like forced to do it, but there are insignificant evidence, against President Biden that you have to make sure there are real facts that he did any wrongdoing. Insignificant evidence may become acquitted. So that's on the news right there. I have a little short word on you, and sometimes short can be powerful. So I believe. I believe in my son. No matter how he look, I believe, and that's the main thing. You have to believe, even though your faith may be wavering. You have a little doubt, you might be complaining. You're not supposed to do none of that, but you have to believe. You have to believe and you have to have hope. So will you believe in God, in your storm, in affliction, when everything is falling apart, it look like there's no ending, you lose it, faith is wavering, doubt is kicking in. Will you believe? Because I think if anybody else was in my shoes, I'm a perfect example that I'm showing to the world. That's anything is impossible. God can move mountains and God can make the impossible happen. Because I'm a setting example, in a long storm. When everything is falling apart and don't look right, I'm still hanging on because I believe, I believe, on God's promise. I believe that God gonna step in and intervene. That's how David was. When David had to step out there to fight that giant, he believed in God. He believed that anything that giant tried to tear him apart, he believed that God was gonna step in. And see, that's the main thing in our storm. We have to believe, So it can be hard, to go through affliction, and struggle, and you don't understand. And every something, you're in your storm. You're going through so much. But at the same time, you don't understand, because God do things in his way. God not going to tell us, what the next move is. We just have to believe and follow. So affliction and struggle, you don't understand, but you have to believe in God. Press your way through and never stop. I never stop, never quit. Keep putting in the hard work. Keep believing. Everything's the same thing, but you keep believing. Now we see that Job went through the same thing. He went through the same thing. He lost everything. He lost everything. And he experienced affliction. He experienced affliction, but through it all, he still believed God. He was still praising and he was still praying. Even when his wife was acting silly. He said, "You being foolish woman, sit down." Because she was talking about God. Now he going through affliction. He done lost everything, but he still believe in God. And he still didn't want nobody else to talk about God. Or you have to sit down. That's how much he believed. Anytime you can still go through all this stuff and you still believe, that's a righteous man. That's a righteous woman. Have so much faith. So affliction. Everything he gone through, he experienced affliction, but through it all, he still believed in God. That any time that God would step in. He believed in God, bent over in pain and suffering, lost everything, but he still believed in God. He believed that God could intervene anytime. I believe that God gonna step in at any time. So in his affliction, he was still believing in God, even though he didn't understand why he was going through it, but he still was clinging on to God. You remember Jacob? I'm not going to let you go until you bless me. And see, Job was still clinging on to God. He was still believing, having hope, that someday, God going to step in and put an end to all his affliction. So he didn't understand, but he continued on praying, believing that our mighty God, that in control, we have to believe that our mighty God is in control of spiritual warfare, in control of everything that is going on in our life. Everything is a test. Everything is a test. At some point, Job realized that he knew God was watching over him. He kept on believing in God. So I'm in a long storm, of affliction, struggle, and when everything is going wrong. Everything is going wrong. Not looking good at all. Falling apart. Faith waving sometimes, up and down, emotion, doubt kicking in, complaining, asking questions, but through it all, I still believe God promised. I still believe. When you still believe, then that means you have not give up, that you still holding on, that you have hope, that you will see the light at the end of the tunnel. Believe is when you never give up. That you still hoping and clinging to God, that some change will come one day. That there will be a change in your life one day. So faith kicks in. Your faith wave and your doubt may kick in, but never give up. Even though it seems like everything is falling apart, but believe. Believe in God even when your faith is not acting right. Believe in God even though you may not understand. Believe in God when you don't understand and you feel like throwing in a towel. Keep believing. Believe that God will step in anytime. That's what Job did. Job believed when he didn't understand. He still believed when his friends came and trying to discourage him, trying to get him to turn away from God. And see, that's how people is today. When they see you close to God, they see you always carrying your Bible, reading and praying, they will try to do something to try to discourage you from being close to God. How many years have passed? Oh, 2 years? 2 years in the past? God, and you still ain't getting nowhere. God, I'll stop doing all that. They will try to discourage you. But you have to stay focused. And you have to, no matter, and that's another thing, no matter how your storm look, you might feel like throwing in the towel. Everything just falling apart. But guess what? Don't never stop putting in the hard work that you're doing for the Lord. Don't never stop. You have to keep going. Because if you stop putting in the work for the Lord, then he will never stop in. Because in the mix of your storm, you are being tested. So if he see you stopping, he will stop. And he will not pursue it. I still work hard, even though things don't look right. Even though I don't see no light at the tunnel, I still put in the hard work. And see, that's how Job was. Job was hanging on by a thread. Still believing it every day. I don't know what his schedule was, but he always was still praying. He was praising God. He even told his wife to sit down. He didn't want nobody to talk about God. But he was like, well, what is my God? I'm in this pain and struggling. We all say that when we going through our storm. So the steadfast, love of the Lord never cease. His mercy, never come to an end. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness. And see, you are being tested in your storm. And especially if you're in a spiritual storm, it's all dealing with your mind. And see, that will make it so hard for me. I ain't used to all this spiritual stuff, but it's all about your mind. You have to be positive at all times. No negative can pop in. It's a lot come for being on your journey. You remember the Israelite. Israelite was on their journey. Israelite didn't know what it was going. Just like us on our journey. We don't know where we going. All we know we're on our path, that God got on us on the path, and we wait until God give us instruction, because we don't know where we're going until we get instruction. The Israelite didn't know where they was going. All they know, they was going to a promised land. But they didn't know what direction and guidance they was going. And then once you start complaining, and everything else, then everything stopped. What was supposed to have been 3 days turned out to be 40 years. So I know you may be saying, why? You still in your storm. Now sometimes, you can take these tools. And these are tools I'm giving you. But when you have a devil on your back, when you have the devil on your back, it means you on the right path. I mean, you on the right path. The devil gonna throw everything at you. I have all kind of stuff coming at me. It's how you take it. It's how you take it. Sometimes you can take all these tools there. But the devil will place all kind of hard metal, every kind of obstacle the devil can do. The devil gonna throw it at you. Because they want you to get out the race. Want you to get out the race. But I never quit. I never stop. Keep putting in the hard work, what I'm supposed to be doing. Even though it look like I'm losing, it don't even look like I'm getting nowhere, like there's no end. I still work like I'm winning. And that's how you have to do. You have to have it in your mind. You have to have it in your mind that you are a winner. That you're going to keep pressing your way through, that you will win. That's what you have to have in your mind in a storm like this. You're going to have a dark storm, the valley, you're going to have all that, and as far as you keep on pressing your way through, you have to be ready that the devil going to be on your back, that the devil going to throw all kind of stuff at you. But in the midst of that chaos, you still have to believe. You still have to believe. You're going to get laughed at. You're going to get mocked at. But sometimes God uses you as an example. He would use you as an example like he did with Job. Job was used as an example. That he trusted God in the midst of his storm. He believed God in the midst of his storm. He was inflicted, all bent over, wound. His wife had to clean his wound. But he didn't understand nothing. He didn't understand why, that you're going through it. We don't understand why you're going through it. You can have a perfect day one day, and the next thing you know, everything just starts turning upside down. And you wonder how you get here. Joe had a perfect family. They were just doing gathering and laughing and talking. And the devil rise up and down looking for who he gonna mess with. But we have to be focused on God. You're going to get lied at and everything else. But we have to stay focused on God. We have to believe, his promises. Because see, he made promise to the Israelites. He made promise to them. He told them they were going to the promised land. He didn't know what direction God was leading them. And a lot of times we don't know until we start traveling on God's guideline. So in the mix of us trying to get to our destination, we have to believe. You in your mind. In my mind, I'm a winner. In my mind, I'm more than a conqueror. In my mind, I believe that I'm going to get to this promised land. I believe that God going to lead me this way. That I know God ain't got me this far. God don't get you this far just to be this far. But in the mix of your storm, you will be tested. So you have to believe. So I know, so in your devil will place things in your way, all kind of obstacles, because they want you to move out the way, But I never quit, never stop, I keep praying, and try to keep my faith intact. And remember, your faith really not supposed to wave, you know, you're not supposed to wave, your emotion not supposed to be up and down. But when you have these things going on, when you overwhelmed, some kind of way, you got to keep your faith intact. You can never doubt, and sometimes we do, but you have to keep your faith intact, and believe in God. It might not look like I don't believe, because I haven't got there yet. That because other stuff is going on, that sometimes you can see and don't really see the real issue, but you have to believe. No matter how it look, don't matter how it look, you have to believe, believe in God's promise, you know, never give up. Because see, the devil gonna keep pounding you and pounding you to frustrate you, for you to quit on your own. The devil is not gonna make you quit. He gonna frustrate you to quit. So you got to stand on your ground. Stand on your ground and believe in God in your storm. Believe in God in your storm. Because see, the devil gonna say one thing. I done grown. I done came a long way. What kind of person I was. I used to hear the stuff and just be acting a fool. Now I hear what the devil's saying. But in my mind, I have to keep on believing the promise that God gave. God will not leave us in the desert. He did not leave the Israelite in the desert. He did not lead them, even though they was complaining and making him angry. His anger lasts a moment. And he kept on being with the Israelites until they made it to their promised land. See, God, when you God chosen, there was God chosen. He planned, and he got a plan for your life. And he put a lot of effort in hanging around. He not going to do all that for nothing, to let the devil destroy, what he put together. So no matter how the devil keep on placing stuff in your ear, you have to believe God and move forward and listen to his guidance. So that's all I have for you on today. That's the tool I have that what I'm working on now. Believing. I believe in God no matter what. No matter how it look. Everything is dry right now. But I'm still believing. It seems like it's falling apart. It's like no light at the end of the tunnel. But I'm still believing. Sometimes God uses you as an example. For the world to see that he can do the impossible. If you read the Bible, God can do the impossible. I done saw so much miracle that's in this house. That's been the healing receive in this house around me and everything. A lot of it be spoken in my testimony. But God, I know what God can do. He got to show y'all what he can do. He can do the impossible. And sometimes, you know, you in a long storm, they're like, she can't get it. She can't get it. It's sometimes God is doing the work in me. You see, sometimes he's doing the work in his plan. If you're not all the way there yet, his plan is still working. So it's stuff that God be working on and why I'm still be in this predicament. It's not, sometimes it don't mean you're not going to get there. It means you're going to get there when God said we're going to get there in his divine time. So that's all I have for you today. Believe in your son, no matter how you look. Don't never quit. Keep on hanging on. Sometimes I be like Joe, bent over no strength, and still have everything to do, but it get done, even though it's being slow motion, but it get done, you know. And we also talk about the impeachment. They constantly keep trying to find someone president or being don't have no good evidence at all, but still want to place an impeachment, for wrongdoing, something they have not found. So insignificant evidence, may become acquitted. So we'll see. We'll constantly give you an update on what's going on. So he is constantly is still working in the mix of this chaos. You know, and care about the America. So we need the next president, to do the same thing, be concerned about handling business and dealing with the American in the world, because that's their job. So that's all I have for you today. Y'all have a blessed, safe night, and I'll see y'all in the next video.